Let's see. So my fast track to kind of rubbing shoulders with players in Hollywood happened accidentally and very quickly. In the early stages of Shadow Company, when all we had done was put up a trailer and the film wasn't really even finished, it was just a rough cut. I sent a copy to Ed Zwick. This was when they were early stage of pre-production on Blood Diamond, which you probably all know, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie Ed Zwick directed. It had something to do with mercenaries. And Ed Zwick loved it and sent me this note saying, you know, come and see me and we'll have a meeting and fly over here and blah, blah, blah. And we did all that, and that was all fun. Didn't really result in anything, but it was a good experience. Somewhere along the way, I had dinner with Gail Ann Hurd. Now, Gail Ann Hurd was, for those of you who don't know, she's produced Terminator 2, Aliens, Abyss, Punisher 1, Punisher 2, Incredible Hulk, you know, a huge amount of movies. She's married to James Cameron, married to Brian De Palma. She's certainly been around, but she's a power producer in any way, shape, or form. Very nice lady, I got on with her quite well. And she really liked Shadow Company. And so we signed a development deal, if you wish, or a shopping deal, for those of you who know what those are, for a year to develop the film. And she asked me early on, she just said, Nick, you know, I really like the movie, and there's a lot of different ways I can see the story going. Well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to write, direct, and produce. And she laughed, and she said, well, you know, it's going to be a studio movie. It's like an $80 million, $100 million movie. You're not going to do that. And I said, Gail, you didn't ask me what I thought was realistic to do on a studio movie. You asked me what I wanted to do. I want to do everything. So but because of that whole directness, it seemed to work. We gelled quite well and started having a number of meetings with writers. Eventually, I got put in touch with, by Gail, Arthur Markham and Matthew Holloway. Very nice guys. They're writers of Iron Man. There's actually 2 sets of writers' credits on Iron Man. I can't remember anymore whether they did the first draft or they did the rewrites. Who knows, but they're definitely credited on the movie. Very good guys. They loved the story, and we started developing not executive outcomes, but a present-day story about mercenaries involved in, as it happens, the Sudan. And it was very interesting, lots of Bourne Identity type stuff, but it was a cool adventure. However, between the writer's strike and Gail being really busy with Incredible Hulk and Punisher Warzone, I guess, you know, producers do this. Eventually they start focusing on something that isn't my baby, and that's fine, you know, because I can't expect everybody to have the same kinds of interests as I do, or the same priorities as I do. However, that isn't what killed the interaction. What killed the interaction was my big man. Specifically, what killed the interaction was that after Incredible Hulk came out, which, as it happens, I thought was kind of a lame movie. I mean, it just wasn't all that interesting for me, and I thought the effects were absolutely god-awful. In fact, when I saw the trailer for the first time, I honestly thought I was seeing a trailer for the video game of the Hulk. I really just thought, and it's a bit hard, you know, when you have someone. I have a lot of respect for Gail. You have a meeting in her office, and you have a Terminator 2 bust on one side and an alien's head on the other side. I mean, it's kind of daunting, because I grew up with these movies, and it's like, I know she didn't create every single aspect of them, she was a key part of them. So you kind of feel bad. It's almost like going to your parents and saying, Dad, you suck, you know, what are you doing? So I kept my mouth shut for Incredible Hulk. I didn't say anything about how bad I thought it was. But when it came out to Punisher Warzone hadn't yet been released, but I saw a trailer, and I thought it was just awful. Oh, absolutely awful. I mean, The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren in the 80s, goes without saying, wasn't really a movie that was that good, but that's, you know, Gail had nothing to do with that, and Marvel really didn't know what they were doing at the time. But after Iron Man, to come out with Incredible Hulk and then Punisher Warzone, and Punisher Warzone to be so not like I would imagine a Punisher to be, I thought was really strange. There were some really bizarre choices. So at an HBO premiere that I was talking to Gail, and she just sort of said, you know, things are going really well with Punisher, and I sat there and I thought, can't say anything about Hulk, don't say anything about Hulk, don't say anything about Hulk. So I go, is it going to go theatrical? Now, bear in mind, I'm talking about Punisher Warzone, which is like a $35+ million movie, and I'm talking to Gail Ann Hurd. So she fucking lost it, and got very mad. And of course, the reason she got very mad is because for somebody to ask a question like that of an experienced producer is essentially a slap in the face, because I'm saying, I don't believe the movie is good enough to go theatrical. Now, as it happens, I was right, but that's not really the point. The point is that I was rude, and whatever, you know, I did apologize for it, but she wasn't very happy with what I said. Nonetheless, so she took it quite personally. I mean, that happens. I mean, she was under a lot of pressure, having to deliver both of those movies, and both of them turning out to be complete flops. It's not, but the problem with being a producer in a power position is, even though it's not necessarily all under your control, it is all your responsibility. So ultimately, it negatively reflects on you. So do I like the fact that I'm honest and direct with people and I'm not jaded enough to play games? Yes, I do. Do I appreciate that that's going to cause certain problems and friction with interacting with people? Yeah, I do. So I just have to live with it. You know, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there's a lot of people who are very interested in the project. Gail happened to be the first one to come around. So it's a shame that things didn't quite work out between us. But I would like to hope that in the long run, she'll appreciate the fact that I tell her what I think, as opposed to just go, oh yeah, it's so awesome, I'm so looking forward to it, it's going to be the greatest movie ever. So there you go, that's my story. Does that make sense as an answer to the question? I think I have to wrap up. I'm sorry, I feel like I talk continuously at people, but I hope people got something from it. And